Hi guys, so I'm just getting dinner ready for the night and we are going to have lettuce wraps. It's a P.F. Chang's kind of knockoff for home, so it's really good. We make this all the time, and so I thought that I would kind of show you how I make it. I will leave the recipe down below and you can make it yourself, but it's so good. So good. Okay, so first things, there's a couple of things that you're going to need. So you're going to need just some cooking sherry, just, cooking wine or cooking, but it has to be sherry, and then some toasted sesame oil. It doesn't really, I've tried a bunch of different brands, so it doesn't really matter. It's just as long as you've got the flavors. So oyster flavored sauce, some hoisin sauce, soy sauce. We like heat, so I have some crushed red peppers here, salt and pepper. Then you're also going to need some of these rice sticks, and they kind of look like this, before they're cooked. Focus. There we go, focus. So they're just, they're pretty wiry and stuff until they're cooked. And then I cheat on my garlic, because honestly, who has time to sit and chop garlic? So I buy this Spice World organic garlic, and it's actually just fresh chopped garlic. And then I also I didn't have cornstarch. The recipe calls for cornstarch, but I used arrowroot. So if you can use flour, anything that's kind of a starchy thickening agent. You will also need a can of bamboo shoots and a can of diced water chestnuts. So you can actually find ones that are like thin strips of bamboo shoots. Those are the best. They're a little hard for me to find. And then you're also going to need some shiitake mushrooms. Now you can use fresh. They're very expensive, so I use these freeze-dried ones, and they're about $8 for a bag. And this will do maybe two or three dinners. And you'll need 8 mushrooms. And all I do is I just stick them in a pot of water, bring them to a boil, turn the water off, and I let them soak for about 10-15 minutes. And then once they've kind of absorbed some of the water, I drain them immediately and put them on like a paper plate or a plate, and then squeeze all the excess water out of them and let them kind of sit. And then once I'm done with that, I chop all the stems off. Sorry for the strap there. Chop all the stems off of them, and then kind of dice them up. And then you'll also need some ginger. So you just dice that up. And then you're going to just kind of follow the recipe below, and I marinate my chicken for about 30 to 40 minutes before. So this recipe calls for about a pound of chicken, and I cut it up into, bite-sized pieces because it is going to go like in a lettuce leaf. So in this you put your sherry, soy sauce, salt and pepper, some of the arrowroot or cornstarch, red pepper flakes, and that's it in that one. And then this is kind of the stuff that goes in after the fact, after you've kind of cooked everything together. This is kind of like the gravy, and that calls for hoisin sauce, some oyster sauce, the sesame sauce, more sherry, and that's it on that one. So once you kind of have all of everything kind of pre-made, you can go ahead and start to make your noodles. So how you make these is you're going to heat about a ½ inch or so in the bottom of a pan of oil. And once it comes up, it needs to be pretty high, and the way you're going to test it is you're going to just take a strand off and toss it in, and it should puff up. So this is, it looks a little yellow, but it's really white. So it'll kind of puff up. I don't know how well you can see that. Focus. So anyways, it'll poke up and it you know, will become pretty crunchy. So if it puffs up, your oil is ready. And then you can go ahead, and I do it in small batches. So this comes in like a really big like piece. So what I do is I cut it along the bottom here, and this package will come with 2 of these. So I cut it along the bottom here, cut it along the bottom on the other side, and then I cut it in half and kind of pull it apart. It's really messy, and it like gets, I mean, there's pieces of it everywhere. And I've done it, you know, I've made this 100 different times, and it always gets all over the place. So anyways, so once you've cooked this, I cook this first because it's really difficult to kind of try and cook this and cook the meat at the same time. So I cook things in batches. So I cook this and set it aside, and now I am ready to start cooking my chicken. So I just have, you know, just a wok here that I'm going to use, and I'm going to go ahead and just turn it on, you know, low heat here. And in the ginger and the garlic and get that sauteing as soon as this heats up, and I'll show you once we've got that all going. Okay guys, so just kind of cooking this up until it's sauteed. It's probably only going to, oh, fogging up the lens there, sorry. It's only going to take this a few, you know, minutes to kind of saute. So one thing you want to remember about garlic and onions and ginger is they will cook very fast in a wok. Everything will cook at a lower temperature than you think it will in a wok, because the point of a wok is to cook things at really high heat. So it's a really thin pan. So your heat can be set really low, but it's going to get really hot in here, even if you're set on low. Okay, so that's good. So the next thing I'm going to do is add my chicken. Okay, so added the chicken in. Now the recipe does say to cook your chicken and then take it out and then add your onions and stuff like that. But I just find that the flavor is much better if you do the onions and the ginger and the garlic first and kind of mix it in, take that out, and then cook everything else. But that's I think just a personal preference, so you guys can do it however you want to do it, follow the recipe or not. But this is kind of how we like it. So just going to cook this around for a few minutes, and once that's all cooked, I'll come back to it. So once that's all cooked up, you're going to just transfer it to a bowl to set it aside for the now, and then you're going to add your bamboo shoot as well as your mushrooms. Okay, as well as your mushrooms. And just kind of stir fry those around. And then at this point I'm going to add some salt and pepper as well. Remember to season as you go. Okay, so once that's sauteed up, you're going to add your chicken back in. Stir that all around. And then you're going to go ahead and add your, yes you did. You're going to go ahead and add your rivet and just kind of stir that around. Ignore the screaming kids, sorry. Okay, so you're gonna let that come up to a boil and just simmer for a few minutes and let all the, you know, ingredients meld together. And in the meantime, you're gonna go ahead and wash your lettuce. Now, again, the recipe calls for romaine lettuce, but again, this is just personal preference. We like the butter lettuce. It seems to work a little better. So you're just going to pull those off like cups and stuff them full of food and eat them. So I'll show you once everything's all cooked up and washed up what it looks like.